Hey everybody, it's Bishop here. And I know I'm a little late to the party. I mean, I knew about this movement when it started. And I've been busy doing other things as far as working my other channel and you know, doing creating video and content from other channel and stuff. But this is something I think I want to put my 2 cents in worth, or actually it's a little bit more than that, because I'm going to explain on my end where my walkaway moment started. And mine, it actually dates back to way back in 6th grade for me. Now, mind you, I've been out of school for 30 years, so this goes way back, and it opened my eye to seeing the mindset, or should say the indoctrination, or whatever we want to call it, back then. It dates back even that far. And here's my story, and this is the only story because there's a few things I remember about 6th grade, things of school and everything and what I did, and there's only a few memories about it though. But this memory here, this memory sticks out to me the most, and I've carried it with me for 40 years or more, and never understood why. But this was an incident back in 6th grade where it was right around election time, and this is where Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, they're running, okay? And this is when Carter was elected, I believe. So what we had was going on was a class project that was basically like a mock election. So it was teaching us as far as the voting process at a 6th grade level, you know, to get us participated in and understand what it's about. So the curriculum was, what she had laid out was different things about, you know, whatever it was about Jimmy Carter, and then what he stood for and what he was about and everything like that, as far as the Democrat, and then the other side, the Republican side, Ronald Reagan, what he stood for and the things that he were about. And we had to make a vote. We had to vote for, you know, who would be president. Who would you choose to be president? Okay, so this was carried out from, okay, my main teacher then, but she wasn't there that day when it was a substitute teacher, actually, and I still, till this day, I couldn't remember her name, but she had the lesson to carry out that lesson for the day. So, you know, we all went through it, through the whole class. Now, mind you, this is just an individual. This is no indictment on my school, because I love my high school, truly do, you know, so it's not that. It was just on this individual. But you know, we went through the process and looked and everything, and everybody voted for who they wanted to, and then I voted for Reagan. So when she went through all the votes and everything and looked at who voted for what, and we had a discussion over it, and then she looked at mine, and then, because we had to name it, we had to write our names on them, you know, so she know whose paper it was. She looked at mine and saw my vote was for Reagan. And later through the class, she pulled me off to the side and she asked me, she said, "Honey, why did you vote for Reagan?" And I'm in 6th grade, and I said, "I can read, you know," and I read what you wrote down for Jimmy Carter, and then I read what you wrote down for Ronald Reagan. And somewhere along the line, I just really didn't agree with Jimmy Carter. I agreed more with Ronald Reagan on the Republican side of it. And she looked, and I told her, I said, I like Ronald Reagan. So I didn't break it down like that, but I told her, I said, I like Ronald Reagan. I like what you wrote, what you stood for. So I like him. And she goes, "Well, honey, that's not really good." And I'm looking at her confused, going, "What do you mean?" And I asked her, I said, "Why not?" And she goes, kid you not. She goes, "Honey, he's a Republican, and they don't really do anything to help your people." And I'm standing there in 6th grade, and I'm looking at this woman going, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean, you people? It confused me. I'm not making this up. I swear I carried this for over 40 years. This thought, and I'm still, every once in a while when we talk about the election process or anything else, that vision, that flash, that moment flashes through my head still. This isn't a dream. So I'm like, what do you mean? I'm sitting there confused going, What do you mean? I don't know. So I let it go. I mean, I'm in 6th grade. I'm still, I'm young and confused even then. So I let it go. I didn't think of anything else about it. Okay? So now also, of course, as coming up with a black family, hard-working blue-collar family, my family basically voted Democrat right down the line. And, I always kind of, went with the family thing and trying to understand it one way and thought it was this way. So, yeah, I voted Democrat for the longest time. Then my wake-up moment was when Bill Clinton got reelected. And it was right after he got reelected. There was a school shooting in Kentucky, and I think there was a quick interview that he did. It was real flash. It was just like a reporter just, basically asked him a question. It was just a flash, he'd given a comment about it or something. And when he said, and I kid you not, he said something in this interview where he said, well, this means we have to have stricter gun control laws. Something how he said that and what he said, man, it went off. It went off in my head like a light. And I'm going, wait a minute. What do you mean stricter gun control laws? I was like, you've been talking about gun control laws for years and years, yet you still see that any criminal, anybody who's got evil intention in their heart, they're going to carry it out no matter what. They're still going to get their hands on a gun. Okay, I knew this years, even as a young kid, I knew this. And then I look back on that and I don't understand why that just went off in my head. I still to this day can't figure out what was that to trigger the light and to make it go off and go, man, I got to rethink this whole thing. I got to look back on this thing, because what I was taught, to believe of what the Democrat Party was and what they stood for. And then I got real curious. I got more curious. And then like I said, from that moment, I flashed back to 6th grade. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, this ain't adding up to me. This is not adding up to me at all. What the hell? So I started digging more. I started looking into history more and digging into it deeper and deeper and deeper, and really started looking at this. And the more I found out, the more I got pissed, the more I got upset, and the more I kept going, you have got to be kidding me. I sit and I look back now from that point up and all the way up till now. I'm just flat out going, man, Democrat Party, I'm sorry, they've been snakes forever. They have been low-down snakes forever, especially against minorities. For people of color, black folks, the Democrat Party, I promise you, is not your friend. They are not your friend at all. They have done everything, man, from fighting for slavery, which, come on, let's admit it, that's what the Civil War was even about, okay? That's exactly what it was. That's why Lincoln called it out and said, look, this is a war actually about slavery, okay? Just admit it. Let's just put it out there, all right? Fought for slavery, lost that, then came along with the Jim Crow laws of the South, okay? Basically, to desecrate even more and just diminish and more black folks, okay? So then they had that. They created a Klan, because when they couldn't keep you as a slave anymore, and you were still fighting against the Jim Crow laws, they still had to figure out some way to muscle you into fear, and the fear taxes to keep the boot on Nick. So they created a Klan too, all right? Then go from that saying, well, the Klan didn't work, so what else? Well, what's the last thing? Because black people were getting more educated, they were getting higher up in political office, and everything else, and blacks were learning how to create their own wealth. They were prospering, okay? What else was there? The last ditch effort. Well, we couldn't do any of all that, so then we had to control you with policy. Till this day, it still goes on now till this day. This is all stuff created by the Democrat Party. All of this, okay? I mean, a party that seriously voted against civil rights. It took Republicans to pass it. The Republican Party was started by freed slaves and abolitionists white people. So, with that being said, it amazes me that black people still have not woken up to the fact and still buying into the fear mongering, still buying into the hatred, the party of tolerance, my ass. Because it's honestly the party that's constantly doing things that are against black folks. I mean, voting for the simple fact of abortion, approving and basically glorifying Planned Parenthood, glorifying the woman Margaret Sanger. It amazes me. It amazes me. Democrats just up and down, jump forward, and everybody else, all black people keep jump forward. Everybody else, you don't got to have Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger created Planned Parenthood for the sole purpose, for the true sole purpose of genocide of the black race. That is what she did it for. But she put it under the guise of, women's health and all this. Get out of my face with that crap. That ain't what it is. Look through the line, look between the lines of BS, and you'll see. You see what it's about. So it's just it infuriates me so much. It infuriates me so much every time when I hear the BS lines that come out with the victimhood mentality, fear-mongering tactics, everything else that come from Democrats. It drives me nuts as to where, as a conservative, that when I realized all of this, when I went down, I realized that, I've been a conservative my entire life because I believe in God, I believe in family, I believe in my country. I believe in freedom and possibility of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. I believe in all of that because it was created that way. Okay? And it was for equality. When Martin Luther King said, I don't judge people by the color of the skin, but the content of the character. That's how I've lived my entire life. Now, mind you, I went to an all-white school. All-white school, okay? So, don't let it fool you. I still had family. I still am very close to my family. So, that didn't go to my school. So, I see it on both sides. So, my experience may be a little bit different than most, or than some. But the simple fact is I never forgot any of this stuff, and like I said, all you got to do is do your homework, people. Do your homework. Wake up. It's there. And it's crazy because the left is desperately trying to erase the history of the left because the left has got such a big black mark on American history. Very bad black mark on American history. So, and they're truly trying to erase it. Truly trying to deny it, especially trying to erase black history. Okay? And if you think I'm lying about that, take a good look at Woodrow Wilson. You can start right there. I do believe that Woodrow Wilson was the first one to implement as far as the educational system, not the educational system, but getting the government involved in education. He was also responsible for putting basically a directive as far as dismissing any kind of black history that contributed to this country. Okay, anything positive, put it that way. And it's been systematically been going on since then. I mean, Christ, there used to be a civics class back in the 60s. Civics basically taught you the Constitution, Bill of Rights, everything. I mean, hell, it's a patriotic course. My mom told me about it. When she was in school, all of a sudden that disappeared in the 60s. And it was like required reading. It was required studying. You don't see that anymore. Why? I guess, if you keep you dumb, you don't know anything about the Bill of Rights and actually know your constitutional rights, you really don't know how to even fight or defend it if you don't know about it. So, all I'm saying is, I can sit here and ramble about this stuff. I can ramble about this stuff all day long. I got good friends of mine, all colors. We all get together and we talk about this stuff. I got friends of mine who are conservatives and some of the liberal Democrats, and we all have a good conversation about this, And that's what people need to do. We need to talk. We need to have a true, honest conversation, not hurling derogatory comments or anything else demeaning anybody. I'm just saying, just learn your history. Learn your history and find out what is what. Black people, learn your history. You'll be surprised at what you find. You'll be surprised at how long we've been lied to. You'll be surprised. All you got to do is dig it. Don't take long. It doesn't take long to find out. Just do it. Okay. But anyway, guys, that's mine. I've been dying to say this, and I just want to put this on video. You know, if you like, you like. You don't, you don't. I don't care. But it's just something I had to get out. I had to get out and say something about it so you understand where I come from. Not a man about victimhood. I never played that because I was never taught that. And I'm talking about my parents and grandparents and my grandparents who came from Mississippi, the Deep South, during all of this turmoil. Okay? During all of this crap. So they told me firsthand. That's where I got a lot of information from. Some of this was firsthand from them. God rest his soul. Both of them. So, to say some hearsay. I had family go through this. I'm sure other black folks have family from the South, from Alabama, Georgia, especially Mississippi. I'm sure you got stories too about this. So pay attention to what's going on. Understand what party is for what. And I'm not saying support a party. I'm just saying support your principles. If you know what your principles are, that's what you support, because that's what I support. I support principles. And believe me, the Democrat Party does not support any of my principles at all. So there you go. That's my walk away, guys. Just like I said, just do your homework. Wake up. Do your homework. And walk away. Be bold and just walk away from it, seriously. And start looking for the real truth.